All right. So if you do have any background noise that comes on, I will ask you to mute yourself just for now. I'm going to officially kick off today, day 2 of our PowHERcircle challenge, and thank all of the troopers that are here live with me this morning to co-create a conversation with all of you. So whether you're watching it live or later on by recording, thank you. What I would love to do to kick things off is introduce my co-facilitator for day 2, Christina Benti, partner in good crime, partner in crime on many occasions, and my winger for sure. Thank you for being here today, Christina.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm super excited. I'm very excited to have this conversation.
It's funny how when I ask women to help deliver the program and the experience of a PowHERcircle, how it ends up lining up, and it can't be more perfect. Today is the theme is connectivity shifts, and we're talking about the gratitude gap and what that gratitude gap might be between us and our bodies, and what the heck a conversation about our bodies and our health has to do with connectivity. So we're going to jump right into this conversation. To give you some context, if you missed yesterday, I encourage you to go back. And we kicked off our week with a conversation about our greatness grids, and really exploring who is on our grid and how we're unlocking the potential of those connections and those relationships this year with Catherine. We had a great conversation. Today we're bringing it back home to us and our bodies. So, and you might wonder how those two things connect together, but I assure you, as soon as we start talking, I don't think you wonder. I think you know. Christina, I'm going to kick it off because we got lots to talk about, but I wonder if you could tell me in this conversation, the very first question we're asking people to consider today is, what does being in a peak state, peak, P-E-A-K state, mean to you? And I wonder if you could chat about that for a few minutes, and why that's important, what that has to do with this whole conversation. I'd love to do that as an introductory question to get us into today.
Awesome. Okay. So I think that ties into kind of how you and I met in the first place. And I want to pick up on something Catherine said yesterday, and that was relationships are the key to everything, right? And when I listened to that, I was like, your primary relationship is actually your relationship to self. And interestingly enough, that's actually how Charlene and I met. I was speaking at a conference, and I was speaking to politicians and talking about that very thing. And Charlene was standing at the back of the room listening to me talk about the connection between leading from the inside out, right? And that first relationship to self. And so for me, being in a peak state, because I think about this often, is preparing yourself physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally for who you are in the world, how to bring your best self and your best self energy. And so for me, that means waking up early. It means movement, like physical movement and exercise. It means drinking lots of water. It means eating, being really conscious and mindful of what I put into my body. And it means planning my day. It means some type of meditation or reflective exercise, again, so that I'm bringing, how do I bring my best self? It's asking myself questions. Okay, who do I want to be in the world today? How do I want people to experience me? How do I want to feel at the end of the day? How do I want my clients to feel? So it's all of those things that elevate me so that I can kind of show up in the world as my best self. my best, boldest, bravest self. So that's what peak state. Interestingly enough, I like to fool around a little bit with that as well. And so that includes things like, which I just finished doing, a hot, cold shower. So speaking of the cold, I've started doing this, I think as, you know, apparently cold showers and deep breathing are really, really good for you and put you in a peak state. So I have been doing like 30 seconds cold and then 10 seconds hot. And again, it's just a way for me to put myself into a peak state. So I'm always looking for kind of new information on how to do that. But the end goal is bringing my best self, not poisoning myself with bad news, not poisoning myself with toxic food, not poisoning myself with poor air quality. It's how do I bring what are all the things that I can do to bring myself in my best state?
Yeah. Oh, so awesome. And as you can see, Christina is the perfect person to chat with this about. So I'm gonna kind of give you a little bit of context and then dive into our next question. But really, it's carrying on with the story of how Christina and I met. But it's bringing it the why. Why is this important home to you? So we met where I had to attend my first leadership learning conference for municipal politicians. So I went to this conference and I was a week out from a bodybuilding show. I had like zero patience because I was hungry and I was tired and I was uber focused. And I walk into this conference and there's about 400 men and like 2 women, like, you know, like, just like, I'm exaggerating, but there's like 400 men and like maybe 5 women. And because I was in the state I was in, I only saw tired, out of shape, overweight, groggy. I saw crappy food. I saw coffee. I saw sitting. And I was also there going, wow, I'm with the leaders of our province. These are the people making decisions for our province in the next 3 years. At that time, it was only 3, not 4. And I just, it really like frustrated me. I was like, where are my people? Where are my people that want to lead at every level? And I was like, what am I doing here? I've so made the wrong decision, like in terms of like bucking up and taking a position for the community. Then I walk into this workshop and there's this like bubbly, energetic, blonde, like person at the front. And I'm like, who is this? What? Is she in the wrong place? And I just stood there in the back of the room because I wasn't sure I wanted to stay, but I just stood there and I was like, who is she? Why is she here? But her energy and her vibrancy and her vitality and her aliveness in this room full of others, I was like, oh my God, she's my people. I'm here to meet her. It's like, and I anyway, that was the beginning. So I say that story because it wasn't necessarily what she said. It wasn't necessarily what she said. It was her energy, her vibrancy, her magnetism, her vitality, her attractiveness. It was the level at which she was operating that up here we both went, I mean, I did at least. She probably was like, why is that chick glaring at me? But I was just like, yep. Why is she here? You know? So I say that story because of the why. I think leaders think that everything that's important, we're around the table and we're going to make all these decisions. And we think that we're leaders from here up. And that's what leadership is. A bunch of people that operate from their brains. What we're talking about is right there. Like, how do we open up the hearts? How do we open up the bodies? the energy, everything else, the potential of everything else, because it's not only what we say that matters. It's how we show up and how attractive that is to get people jazzed up. One of the biggest words we probably all hear is engagement. Well, how do we get our people more engaged? I wonder how we get our people more engaged. How do we engage our community? Be engaging. Like step one.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
right? Get us excited.
yeah,
Be exciting, right?
yeah.
So, um,
I often speak to technical, like a technical audience who their job is data and technical information. And one of the challenges that they experience is how do I get people, how do I get the councils and elected officials to listen to the information that I'm sharing? And I'm like, bring your enthusiasm. You've got the data and the information. Bring your best self then to that, because get excited. Bring that energy and passion to sharing your data and technical information, because it's really key. Otherwise you get tuned out. But this comes back to what we talked about at the beginning, and that is, it's leading your own life first, leading from the inside out, right? Because like I said, that first relationship is your relationship to self. So that is body, mind, soul, spirit. So how can I nourish myself physically? How can I nourish myself and care for myself? You wouldn't put orange juice into your gas tank. So why would you put Diet Coke into your body? So sorry for those of you who drink Diet Coke, but you know what I mean? Like, why would we poison our
yeah.
bodies with poor quality food that doesn't bring out our best selves?
So we're gonna move into some real tactics and some ideas that'll hopefully move us forward. Before we do that, before we move into the how, some ideas about what we could maybe focus on, I've actually asked Christina, to ensure that it comes from the right place. I've asked Christina to do a short visualization with us this morning. So I'm hoping that you will be okay with that and work along with us in that. So, Christina, I'm going to just turn it over to you.
Okay. All right. So wherever you are, it's probably, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, because it's probably one of the ways that we can tune inward. And I want you to start to notice your breath. And I want you to start to deepen it. So actually bring your breath down into your back and into your belly. And because we're focusing on gratitude and our relationship with our body, I want you to just be grateful right now. Say thank you. Thank you for air and for your breath. And so continue to just bring that breath in, nice and deep. And as you're breathing, I want you to think about all the ways your body works without you having to be conscious of it. How your eyes blink, how you breathe, your sense of smell and touch, what you hear and what you feel. And then think about what you sense. So not just what you feel, but what do you sense? And I want you to send love and gratitude to all of those senses, every part of your body. Maybe there's an area that's uncomfortable, of least satisfaction, that frustrates you. I want you to send love and gratitude there. Now I want you to think of a part of your body or part of your experiences that's easy to love, that brings ease and peace. Maybe it's your smile. And bring some energy there and say thank you to that part.
Mm-hmm.
And so a couple more deep breaths of love and gratitude. And maybe make a promise right now that you're going to see your body as a friend, as a co-creator of your joy, of your experiences, of your way of being in the world. See it as a friend and make a promise to look after it well. One more deep breath. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
So one of the things that you can do, like, and I'll just share a little experience. Sometimes when I'm out for a run and say my knee is bugging me, I will, like, if it's a little irritated, a little sensitive. I mean, I don't believe in running through ridiculous pain or anything, so don't misinterpret me. But sometimes it's a little sore or whatever. I'll send some love. I'll just like thank you and send some energetic love down to that knee or a part of me that doesn't feel great, and send some gratitude, and oftentimes the shifts are kind of amazing. So just play with that, be curious. One of the things, invite that wonder into, instead of that critical self-deprecating tendencies. Bring some wonder and joy and gratitude into those parts of yourself.
Awesome. So I'd love to spend a few minutes, so we have a few minutes to open it up rather than the chat, as well as the, using the chat, or you can we can unmute you. But I'd like to spend 3 minutes with Christina to just model the next part. And it's going to be just kind of like a lightning round, where if we are making friends with our bodies and we are really opening up to the idea that they are our temples, they are our longest relationship in this lifetime, from birth to death. And they are our vehicle to take care of. And I used to say that to training clients, would you take care of your vehicle the way you take care of your body? And in most cases, they would drive Beamers and whatnot and take way better care of their vehicle than they did their body. So I'm going to start off, and I'm just hoping Christina will play off of me back and forth a little bit with the first thing that kind of comes to mind about what can we start to put into play? What are some real tactics? So I want to start by the concept of lateral shifts. Deprivation does not work. So if there's something that you are looking to create like more purity around in your body, start with lateral shifts. I gave up sugar. However, my lateral shift was moving to dates, which are great for iron and also extremely sweet. So I don't not have anything. So if there's something that you need to improve on in your life, consider making a lateral shift to something better rather than eliminating it. Christina, what would be one thing top of mind for you?
So one of my challenges that I face when I'm on the road is exercising and finding time to run. So one of my when I'm on the road, so one of my lateral shifts is just getting outside for a walk and doing it more often, even if it's 10 minutes. So instead of using the excuse, well, I can't run for 45 minutes, so I'm not going to run, but I can get out for 10 minutes 3 times today, and do that. Same with the for me with the sugar is eliminating sugar, but actually turning to dark chocolate, right? And a dried apricot in the same bite, right? Something like that. So just adding more movement into my time in such a way that doesn't have that all or nothing kind of thinking. For me, that's the lateral shift, actually.
I'm going to give you 2 things that I think are so easy that could improve immediately, but that we fail to do. They are 2 Bs. So if you think of it this way, if you want to be better, think of 2 Bs that Shar shared. The first one is breathing. Very few people throughout their day are able to breathe deep enough. So the number one thing that I usually teach, as a trainer is deep breathing. Everybody shallow breathes all day at their desk while they're working. You're breathing to about here, and then you wonder why you're so tired. So I don't know if you hang out with me a lot, you'll notice that I do incredible sighs throughout the day. You're probably like, why is she sighing? No, it's like I need oxygen. So I don't know if you need to put a sticky somewhere, but you need to breathe deeper, like using all of your air. And the other B would be around the word beliefs. And it comes from actually our I'm sorry, I can't remember where I got it from, but I remember telling Christina about it. Just as important as what you are eating is your state when you are eating it. I'm going to repeat that again. Just as important as what you're eating is your state when you're eating it. So if you see out there in the world, there's so much focus on gluten-free and sugar-free and vegan and this and blah, 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 to the nth degree. I very rarely see anything about what is your emotional state when you take that in. Yeah, Christina.
You know, I was thinking about the fact that I grew up in a home where we prayed before meals, and it was interesting because we would just say the prayer as fast as humanly possible so that we get to our food, right? And now as an adult, regardless of your belief system, you can pause for a moment and look at the art of your food and think about all the places that it came from and all the level of effort, and look at it with like deep gratitude, right? And so just a quick practice of that, like, wow, this is amazing. I have access to food and to resources that my grandma didn't have, in her early life. Right. And so to be to be thankful for that and acknowledge all of the ways that it came to you, you know, I think is it's a great exercise, just that act of gratitude.
Yeah. So we do need to look at wrapping it up. I want to be respectful of everyone's time, but just before we do, I'm curious, using your chat box at the bottom, if you've got that open, are there any tactile, tangible things that you do or that you would like to start doing that you think would be helpful to other women? So I encourage you to use your chat box. I'll kick it off here, but I'm just curious what would come up in the next minute if you were, if we all just quickly shared an idea. Kelly's is just reminding us the power of the pause, you know. In Sweden, they insist that all meals happen in hugely, I think that's the word, everyone needs to feel warm and fuzzy with similar conversation, nothing controversial at the dinner table, you know, just 5 minutes outside every hour, just the power of a hug. I am, just remembering to actually just sit down when you eat. For me, I'm going to be starting most days with less coffee and more hot water with apple cider vinegar, just as an intentional practice to my body. And I encourage you, as you work through your homework today, have a look at your health planner. It's just a simple one-sheeter, but it's just to bring some more deliberate action. It is part of the email that you would have received. If you didn't get it, just send me a note, let me know that. But I just encourage you for the next 90 days to just give yourself a plan that you want to follow. Any final thoughts, Christina? I want to wrap it up for everybody. Yeah,
I was just thinking, one really good practice is plan your next day the night before. Set yourself up for success. So just take 10 minutes to kind of take a look at, okay, how can I make sure that I'm including the things that I can look after myself? Where can, and I, you know, there's some great ideas here, but I want to pick up on one of the things that Tina said is 5 minutes outside of every hour. So set a timer for 55 minutes and take that 5 minutes then in between those hours to check your breathing, go get a drink of water, do 30 jumping jacks, something like that, to set yourself up for success. One of the things that's really important to remember is that we want to, when is my prefrontal cortex, when is my executive function at its peak? Make your decisions then in terms of what I'm going to eat. So planning your day and using, you know, not waiting until you're completely exhausted and that prefrontal cortex is drained and you're now making decisions from the amygdala, which is, you know, possibly shoving gluten and sugar and all sorts of, you know, stuff into your body that doesn't serve it well, right?
Love that. All right, I'm going to encourage you. We have the Facebook group to keep the conversation going as you think of ideas throughout your day. This is to just fire start it. So we'll be back on tomorrow for day 3, where I'm excited to rope Kathy into the conversation. If you're enjoying the Fire Circle, let us know. If you want more or something different the next time around, let us know that too. But thank you so much for being here today. Really appreciate you guys.
Thank you. Some great comments in here. It was super fun. Thanks, Charlene.
Thank you, Christina.
Fantastic Monday.
Bye for now.
Bye.